Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Droke, and I'm with South Dakota State University, and I teach in the GPI DIS MS and Dietetics graduate program. At SDSU, we use Desire to Learn as our learning management system. And in the classes that I teach, I have quite a few students each year that are not familiar with Desire to Learn or D2L. Thus, I want to help ensure that I'm setting them up for success right from the start. So I use a D2L function, which is called checklist, in order to help guide them through the course. On their homepage, when they log in, here's information on the course. I also have recorded a Navigating the Course video, which will walk those students through the setup that we're using in their D2L course. Here is a link to their first syllabus or their first checklist as well, which they can click here, or they can go to the content tab, and then they will find a Getting Started Must Access This module. And here I start to set them up for the use of checklist and restrictions, indicating that the course is self-paced within weeks, and that they will be using checklist and restrictions to help guide them through the course. Then I have a document where I took some screenshots that shows them how checklist and restrictions will be used. And then they encounter their first checklist, which contains the course syllabus and other information to help get them started. And then I give them a little bit of instructions on how to use a checklist. Basically, as we'll see in a second, going through item by item and making sure that they check the box on the left to mark an item as completed, as that item may be used as a restriction within various sections of the course. And typically I use these restrictions in order to access a discussion or a Dropbox assignment. And usually the restriction is placed on the instructions for that assignment. So here's an example, again, of a checklist and what it looks like from the student view. So this is their first Getting Started checklist. And this is just one section, which is tips for success in the class. And you can see that there's a checkbox here. And I went in as a student and did this and marked it complete. And then you can include various links, whatever you would like. And there's various sections in this Getting Started module. Then what does it look like when we get to an actual week with assignments? Here is their week 2 discussion. So again, kind of giving the focus for this week and indicating the checklist of containing the list of items that they need to complete. And so you can see then here is a link to their week 2 checklist. And you can make each checklist available at the beginning of each week, which helps guide them as well. So they would not be able to access this before the start date that is set. Then a little bit more of what that looks like specifically in the week 2 checklist in terms of discussion. I could put in a first discussion or a first checklist list, which is on discussions. And then the task there is just giving them some information on the what and the why of discussions. And then later on, I can give them actual information on the discussion assignment, which is, this one is what is important to you. Here is when it's due. And within this, I can include a link to that actual discussion. What does it look like for another type of assignment? Here is part of a checklist where I indicate that if they have questions about their review paper, they can click on this link to go to the discussion forum for this to ask a question. And then up above this too would be instructions for this assignment. But here's where then they can turn in that assignment and the due date. And then I give them specific instructions on how this link to the Dropbox will become available to them, and that they will have to mark above as complete the instructions for this assignment. And so what I have received from students is that the use of the checklist has been helpful. They have indicated that it helps give them reminders of when assignments are due, keeps content, assignments, and due dates together, and helps with their overwhelm. So I find checklists very useful, and I hope you would as well. Thank you.